Chat about what's happening in the gaming space with my wonderful co-hosts, Stefano and Mr. Gonzo. How are you both?
What's up, boys, ladies,
boys,
people in the community,
ladies. Plenty of ladies in our community, actually. I looked at our stats. We're about 35% of the fairer sex.
Nice.
So welcome to the ladies.
That is excellent.
So Mr. Gonzo is just going to let you all know that we're actually here because no one is yet. I couldn't advertise it. I'm still trying to figure the software out. So yeah, where to begin today, guys? Maybe we'll give it a couple of minutes just while the community realizes we are in fact live. Here they come. But yeah, we'll get into community updates on Chronicles and Axie shortly. But overall state of the market, Stefano, anything that's popped on your radar of interest you want to share with us?
No, apart from the classic things, like there is tons of things happening right now in the space, like is all the events that we've been mentioning on the past on the past video. So market is super chaotic and full of things as usual. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, NFT gaming, without a doubt. I was doing my usual rounds of all the other YouTube content creators this morning, and all of a sudden everyone's become an NFT gaming expert.
Yeah. You know, that's what everybody claims, obviously. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of channels that were doing like technical analysis till like a month ago, that all of a sudden now they're doing the transitions to gaming because you know, they've always been gamers. Before they were all like working 15 years in the financial industry and being brokers. Now all of a sudden they're all being like developers of games for the past 15 years. So whatever.
Easy transition, man. Just like no problem. Just flip the switch.
Yeah, same thing. There is like no difference whatsoever. Like one or another, you know.
You know, you can turn out a AAA quality game just as fast as you can mint a shitcoin on an ERC20, right? Easy.
Pretty much.
Copy, paste, done. AAA. Wait 4 years. We're gonna pump the token. You stake it all up, and we're good.
Welcome to the community. Lots of familiar names and a few I haven't seen here before. So anyone new, welcome along. You're in the right place if you want to learn a bit more about the NFT gaming space. We've got a couple of experts on the panel with us. So Stefano, you mentioned Aavegotchi the other day. I've been very pleased to see the price appreciate there. I've moved my tokens to Polygon. It's one that you keep going on about. Is there any particular reason that Aavegotchi seems to be such a big favorite of yours?
Well, the structure, obviously, the type of approach that they're having on a lot of things is it's very unique on a lot of things. So there are the pros and the cons. I think that there are like things that they're doing very, very good that I'm a big fan of. For example, the DeFi approach of that, the farming aspects, for example. I love how they develop like a very nice collateral model, for example, where you're having like your token, you stake that into Quick. So you're part of an LP, you get money on that. You are staking the LP token on Quick, and so you start farming Quick token. And then that same token that you're staking allows you to get friends token, which is like their fake token to actually get the tickets. And then the tickets are NFTs and you can sell them, or you can actually join the lottery. Like, is that process where like a single position gives you a kind of a benefits in a lot of different things of the ecosystem. And they are the only project of my knowledge right now that actually like they've managed to do something so good and that it makes sense. I've been on their LP for 6 months at this point. Like I've been farming there for so long because it's worth it. You know, traditionally we always mention like how LPs are problematic with impermanent losses and all of that stuff. But with all of these benefits of being like in that entire system, it works. It makes a lot of sense. Number one. Number two, it has the little approach on like you need to be willing to put a little bit of work into that in order to really maximize the result. It's not like an easy process where like everybody gets like 100x from day one. And I always believe that like biggest rewards should go to people that really push the time to learn and figuring out things instead of like, you know, having like everything given to everybody. The other part that I really, really like on what they are doing is like the DAO approach on that. So I think that they really figure out the fact that we mentioned this in the past, at least like I mentioned this in the past quite a few times, that I think that governance is a little bit of a catch-22 problems, because the fact that you're giving that to everybody the option of like voting and expressing their opinions, it does not mean that this is automatically the best thing. At the same time, there's also the fact that not everybody is interested in giving their opinions. Not everybody's interested in participating in the future of a project. Some people just want to like, you know, buy a token and that's it, nothing else. Aavegotchi, my opinion, is figuring out something that is very gamifying the governance and of a project. The simple fact that like if you're participating in the voting mechanics, you're receiving experience for your Aavegotchi, and you know that experience translate like on a higher position during the season, and that higher position translate in earning Ghost token at that point. You know, it's pretty unique. We're now seeing with the auction mechanics on the new portals that are having like another thing. So they're very, very good in taking these traditional mechanics that like everybody's doing, but they're really innovating on those things because they're making them very gamified, and they're actually fun. They're, well, maybe a little bit nerdy, but you know, they're engaging at that point. That there is an interest on like being involved in these type of things. That's the pros, in my opinion. If you're looking at the cons, and I mentioned that many times, I'm concerned on a lot of things about Aavegotchi. One, pulling up the land gameplay out of the head like a rabbit and so on, because you know, land is kind of like the FOMO topic. Never mentioned that before. It wasn't like on any paper whatsoever. There wasn't any conversation whatsoever. But then all of a sudden, but we're gonna do land sales. That was one that, you know, the second thing that worries me a little bit is that there isn't any creation from the community for the NFT. And so I'm afraid the long term, the game might actually become, or like the entire ecosystem might become something where like the community, the team is just pushing NFTs to the community is buying and suck it up all the time, which is not a mechanics and a tokenomics that I'm a fan of. But, you know, given the benefits of the doubt, so far they're doing absolutely good, and they have actually managed to innovate in areas where nobody else has managed to do that. So are they going to be able to put like a proper value on like making sure that the system is not going to collapse down in 1 or 2 years from now? You know, it's that bet that you need to put on early projects. Can the team deliver? Or is the team good enough that they can actually like solve the problems before they're gonna hit the wall and the project is gonna collapse down? I don't know.
Stefano, what's your thesis for? You know, obviously, you know, we're all looking to build out these play to earn scholarships here. Axie's been a huge success. You know, clearly we're all looking for other opportunities like that to plug into the community. What's your thesis on that? I'm hearing a lot of people in the crypto space now going off a little bit half-cocked. You know, they're all looking at what YGG are doing. But for you, what are you seeing? Games that are with us right now that actually have a great play to earn model. Is there anything, I know I've asked you this question before, but is there anything that you think potentially is going to come close to what Axie's got, or has the?
Well, first of all, I don't think that Axie has solved the problems that we're talking about. I actually think that Axie is exactly in the same situation. We're driving through a wall, and you know, they need to fix that problem before they actually hit the wall. There isn't a game right now that has fixed that. Not even Axie. And I'm keep saying this, and you know, frankly, I actually don't care what else everybody has to say about that. But you know, apart from that, I think that is a tough subject It's a difficult one because you can use a model that like might actually slow down things. And think about like Lost Relics, for example. You don't have to pay a single dollar to enter the game. You don't really have like a crafting mechanisms. It's a more like of a game first that has some sort of like play to earn mechanics that if you're lucky, you will get an item that is an NFT and you can sell. Can you build the tokenomics on that? No, most likely. You can build like a casual game session, but you aren't there. Axie is a good model because Axie shows like the problem with the growth, which is like the other side, and we've seen that they have to like fix things because the growth was going on out of control and so on. Did they fix the problem? No, they didn't. The fact that they're claiming that this is for the long term beneficial and so on, mathematically it's wrong. It's not true. It's just slowing down things. They need to put utility into the SLP. They are well aware of this, by the way. It's not like communication is one thing, marketing is one thing, the reality is another one. They know that they need to put utility into the SLP. How quickly can they do that? Well, Axie is a team that is always been delivering very quickly, 2, 3, 4 months from now. Can the game grow, or is the game going to collapse down in 2, 3 months before they're figuring out that equation? Most likely, they're probably going to figure that out if you're looking at the percentage of the chances and so on. But as of today, it's a tough one. It's super difficult because you're in a position where like it looks a lot like if you're making a lot of money, it might look like a pump and dump. Let's take Crypto Blade, for example. It might look like a pyramid scheme. Let's take Axie, for example. It might look like a model that like has not enough for everybody. So where like the pot is not big for everybody. Let's take, for example, Aavegotchi or the Rev Racing pool, $150,000 that is only for 1,000 people. Same thing for Lost Relic. Everybody got like the most valuable items and weapons at the early stage. Now, if you start playing the game, you probably make like $2 or $3. So I think that right now, nobody has cracked that equation. However, if I need to look at the gaming industry, the traditional gaming industry, where I think that like people are really missing this part, because everybody's focusing like on the tokenomics from a blockchain stand, like DeFi and these type of things. But if we're looking at gaming, we have the most successful models are either pay for the game, so you buy the game and you play for that, or freemium models. And freemiums makes way more money than buying actually the game. And so think about stuff like Fortnite, Call of Duty, and so on and so on, where you have like that skin and those type of things. That's why I like a lot what Light Knight, for example, is doing, because I think that they are kind of going in that direction, but they're not there yet. Ideally the option of like winning NFTs, participating, and then having the option to fight and lose those NFTs, I think that that's going to be very, very interesting. That part, however, opens up another super complicated things that we're seeing like with the chain games ecosystem, which is like gambling. And so you need a license for that. It's so much of a mess that like every side where you're looking at, there is a pros and a cons. And it's super early exactly because of this reason, because there isn't a solution that works for everybody right now. Everybody's just trying different things.
Yeah. Well, okay. So thoughts on that, Mr. Gonzo?
Yeah, I mean, like we're early, right? And we're picking faults in things that haven't developed yet. I think, like we are not there. Like we're still at the very, very, very beginning of the stages of play to earn, NFT gaming, crypto, blockchain gaming, all this stuff. It's still early days, and identifying problems before they happen is good. But, we're getting to that point where we have to have a bit of faith, I think, in the projects that, we've done our analysis on, and, we've been following along and seeing how they're developing, and we got to make some decisions, like, okay, are these guys going to pull it out? Or, have they taken a massive turn where, the fundamental analysis that we've done for the past while, does that change? This is the same for every project, right? So even if you're in long term, you still have to analyze and look at what you're doing and seeing what the project is doing, if they're progressing like they're supposed to, hitting their roadmap milestones. and stuff like that. There's going to be all kinds of technical problems, as we've seen with Axie, and then there's all kinds of scams going around that we've seen. Well, I don't know if I want to name anything, but there's definitely a lot of crap out there that you got to watch out for. So you always got to be vigilant, stay aware, just watch what's happening, pay attention, right? So I think it's just so early, so early still. And everybody's trying to get into the next one before it happens, right? Which has led to, a lot of pitch decks going around. We got the next big crypto game. Like, if you watch any of the other kind of shilling YouTubes, they're all getting into pre-sales for the next play to earn game. Like there's so many pre-sales for the play to earn game, and they're going to be out soon, and the hype, right? But what most people don't realize is the amount of time it takes to make a play to earn game. And, from a pre-sale to actual implementation, you're talking about at least a year. If there's any kind of, fun game mechanics, or it's technically advanced, with most things with crypto and gaming are technically advanced. You'll talk to any of the big game studios, and their major problem switching to NFT gaming is the technical side. Like it's taken years and years and years for the computer programming to get to a level where they can make these super complex 3D worlds. Like I've worked in video games, man. There are massive, massive crews for games that are even just like double A. Like a AAA level game, you need like hundreds and hundreds of people, coders, 3D modelers, playtesters, the infrastructure around it. So, be really, really wary of all these games and, projects promising like these massive, massive metaverse worlds, and they have a very fancy, nice trailer, but no actual gameplay yet. So.
Yeah, thoughts on that one? God, the guy's name's just escaped me, but the guy that recently fought Floyd Mayweather, that YouTuber, he's apparently launching an NFT game.
Logan Paul.
Can you tell us about that and your thoughts on that game? Have you had a look at it?
I didn't check the game, but because my opinion on when VIP goes into FOMO style. I always stay away from that as plagues.
That's Crypto Beasts, right? Is that Crypto Beasts?
I doubt that is Crypto Beasts.
No.
Crypto Beasts is
Zoo, or Crypto Zoo or something?
That's the one, Crypto Zoo, yeah.
I got mixed up with the crypto name.
But Logan Paul reinvented itself already with the Pokemon cards a year ago at this point and so on, and he was he has done NFTs and his community follow through that. To be honest, I'm not saying that he understands blockchain. He probably doesn't, but I think that it's gonna sound very weird from me to say something like that, but I think that if there is someone that actually has his hands to what people really want from a game, is actually someone as a YouTuber like him.
Well, exactly. I saw an interview with him where he was saying the devs and all their kids, they're totally addicted to it. They're just they can't get enough, So if you have kids actually addicted to the game before it's out, that's usually a pretty good sign, because they're kind of an unfiltered audience, right? They're not ooh, we paid a lot of money for it and it's kind of good, so we'll just hype it up and say it's good. Anybody that's on a team, that's what they're going to do. But you get kids, man, they're unfiltered. They'll give you the straight up opinion, right? If they like it, they're going to want it. And whatever that, there's a little nuance in it sometimes, the silliest, stupidest looking game. But if there's that fun element, people will play it, right? It doesn't have to be 3D fancy, super real Sims and Uncanny Valley games. Stupidest games ever, right? Just as long as it's fun. And if you can make money at it, watch out.
Are you hearing anything from the traditional gaming world coming across to NFT gaming? And how do you think that integration potentially could look?
You're looking at go for it.
Yeah, I have two examples. The one was Gameloft. We've been talking with them a little bit about making a crypto game, and they've kind of sat on it, and the whole thing was about they're not sure if they actually want to change their whole company mantra into NFT gaming and crypto, right? Because it redos their whole structure. And then technically they were stuck, like I was saying earlier. They couldn't find blockchain developers. And then to be any kind of progressive, it has to be interlopable, right? So you have to be able to nice, clean, seamless, download the app, boom, buy the NFT, store the NFT, start playing, right? And all the back end stuff underneath there is just really, really complex. So, and the other example I know of is a traditional gaming studio, a small one. They were making web games, and they've moved into crypto games, which is an easier transition because it's not as big of a company, right? So, I don't know. Do you know of any, Stefano, big companies that are?
I know a lot of companies that are looking into that, but none of them is there. There is the same problem that we have seen like with traditional financial companies, as well as like the, I don't know, the World Bank or the European Union posting jobs for blockchain people. There is a solid lack of resources right now in the space for them to hire. Because here's the thing: if you are in a position where like you have the knowledge, the skill sets to develop like, you know, bridges and smart contracts and NFTs and stuff like that, you're already part of the ecosystem. And right now, chances are that the ecosystem is paying you 6 digits a year, or in some cases even 7. You know, you are on the line at that point of considering either to be free with your own time frame, with your own hours every single day, and making like a very huge salary either way, and exchange that to go for a 9 to 5, or in some cases like a 9 to 9, because, you know, you still have to push no matter what when you're employed by someone, with maybe a bigger salary or like a similar salary and so on, but, you know, going back on taking orders and so on, and basically dealing and surrounding yourself in an environment where nobody understands what actually you're doing and talking about. It's very difficult for those companies to hire. So there is an interest for a lot of those companies to actually enter the space. Louis Vuitton is the latest example that I can bring on that. Like, think about that.
You're a big Louis Vuitton wearer, Stefano?
Of course, of course. Like, hey, to all of them. Like, you kidding? Like, I go like from the bedroom to the office, and I'm like full of Louis Vuitton stuff.
I've just noticed I'm called Jesse today, by the way. Yeah.
You noticed today or yesterday? I think we have another NFT top call in. We had Paris Hilton on Jimmy Fallon shilling her NFT collection, generative art. The top is in, guys. The top is in. If you got a liquid NFT JPEG avatar, you might want to sell it before the bottom falls out.
Yeah, look, somebody was asking what are NFTs. I mean, maybe if we can quickly explain the difference between an NFT game, you know, the JPEG NFTs. There's all sorts of different categories. I mean, you could almost argue that a Bitcoin is a fractionalized NFT as well. Mr. Gonzo, do you want to maybe explain the different NFTs, how it relates to gaming and what is available in the overall space?
NFT, non-fungible token. It's different than a fungible token. And an example of a fungible token would be Bitcoin, where you can have one Bitcoin and it's exactly the same as any other Bitcoin on the chain. Sean and I can trade one Bitcoin each and they're exactly the same. There's no difference. A non-fungible token is that using smart contracts, they've programmed different metadata and different properties, different programmability into the tokens, so that even though you know, you could have a Bitcoin NFT, or I mean, an ERC 721 is an NFT, and that's each token is different. So there could be 1,000, but each token is completely different. Well, not completely. You can have different variations on the same one, but so the difference is an NFT is that is an individual token in crypto, and it's many use cases. The technology has been around since 2016 or 13. Do you know, Stefano?
Longer than that, because I mean, a web address is a non-fungible token, effectively.
Yeah. So, but within NFTs, there's many use cases, right? And so we're seeing them already. The easiest one to reproduce is just a JPEG, right? Which is the piece of digital art. It's minted. It says you own it, right? And there's one of ones. And then now what's happening now is we're getting the avatar hype, which is a generative NFT where you load 15 variables, mix and match them. You make 10,000. They're all unique, limited supply. You get a bit of hype. It's people show off how much money they spent on their avatar, and the hype continues. And then once you go deeper, you can have animated NFTs, which are GIFs or AVIs, you can make 3D models into NFTs. You can make a sales contract. You can make it a land deed. There's so many uses for NFTs, but right now, all we're doing right now, we just get the first little hype, right? We're just scratching the surface of NFTs. So gaming NFTs, the perfect example is Axie, right? There's 4.5 million Axies. Each one is different. There's a couple that are, slightly the same, but they still have different genetics. So each Axie has different properties, different abilities. You can level it up. It gets programmed into the blockchain. So that's NFT, non-fungible token.
Speaking of programming things into the blockchain, Nine Chronicles, a game that is putting everything onto the blockchain. Stefano, do you want to update us on how things are progressing there?
Yeah, they launched the farm on Sushi. So if you are part of the LP on Sushi still, and so if you put like your Rep 9 Chronicles Gold ETH and ETH inside the LP, you have received like your Sushi LP tokens, because like every time that you join an LP, you receive the tokens that represent the ownership or the partial ownership of the LP. At that point, you take those tokens, you put that into the farm on Sushi, and so they go away from your wallet and they go inside another smart contract. By doing that, you're basically staking, and so the more time you put those tokens inside a contract, the more you're gonna earn. So right now, the way that it works is that like you have your LP, so you need Rep 9 Chronicles Gold and ETH. You got your LP, you put that into a farm, and in the farm, you're going to farming Rep 9 Chronicles Gold, so the same token as before, and Sushi, because it's on Sushi. As of today, I think, or at least yesterday, I didn't check today, but as of yesterday, the APY was around 94% per year. So the return is quite in line with YGG when YGG was doing like the IDO, and then like they joined like the farming, the onsen on Sushi. Here we pretty much have like similar values. So if you are like into the project, and so on, that's a pretty good APY. However, as per usual, same classic things. The bridge is not open yet, so without the bridge, we don't really know what is going to happen to the price. So even if you're looking at 9-10% a month, basically like in return, you might have like a price that goes down on 90%, and so like you don't make anything out of that. Or vice versa, it might happen that that's not happening as a case, and and you're actually making a nice return because you're early in the game. So as per usual, pros and cons. I'm not giving any opinion on anything. It's really pros and cons. This is what it's available. If you want to take the risk, that's an option. If you want to wait, that's fine as well.
Yes, Mr. Gonzai.
I have another option. You can choose to not buy, and you can partake in the hard forking challenge for 9 Chronicles. So we've set it up nicely now where any scholar or any player of 9 Chronicles who signed up, they can complete the extra challenges that we have for hard forking and win some NCG. So we've got a new lead scholar who's going to help us with 9 Chronicles, Just Lucky. He's been doing really well in the game. He knows what he's doing. He's shown some initiative. He's helped us get organized here. So congrats to Just Lucky at being the lead scholar at 9 Chronicles. So
there you go. Cheers for that.
Let's take a look at some of the rewards we can get here. So we've got, sorry, didn't share. Share screen. Can I share screen? Whoosh. Okay, so, we go through, we can create a character, 20 NCG, level 6 NCG. So these are on top of the bonuses that are already on Twitter from 9 Chronicles. So level 13, Pass World 1, Pass World 2, Pass World 3, Pass World 4. So some of these are getting up there. Like World 4 takes quite a while, right? But it's 100 NCG. And if we're looking at the current market value, that's pretty good. You don't want to buy at that price, I don't think. But if you're getting free, craft items, craft 10 items, craft 50 items, craft 100 items, buy 1 item, buy 10. buy 100 items. I don't know if you're going to want to be doing that. If you're going to spend over like 1,000 NCG to win 100 NCG, you might not want to do that one. But
it's a lot of money at the current price.
For sure. So the total rewards that you can do if you hit every goal on here is you can get 880 NCG per person. So with the pot that we've got going for the community, that means that we have enough room for 170 people to get that prize. So, I mean, you know, that's pretty good. I mean, just to play a game, sign in, follow along, complete some levels, join the community, be active, right? So
speaking of being active, Mr. Gonzo, and while you're screen sharing there, can you have you got JM Sagato's little video that he's made to share with the community? I thought that was fantastic.
Oh, shit. Yep. Sorry. I'm a dum-dum with this fucking stuff.
I certainly want to get you a team, sir, for the effort you've put into this. So please get your details to our community lead in the Discord, and I'll arrange that for you next week. But I absolutely love this one. Might even have a job in marketing for you, mate. Oh, hang on. You want to restart that?
It's the Gonzo and Stefano. What blog voice?
The Miso, it ends up being the third most successful.
My co-host, the Gonzo and Stefano. What blog voice? Crypto rules everything around. No, I'm a running sir. We've got a finger on our hands. Well.
Superstar. What a cool dude. Thanks for that, buddy. We've definitely got a good team coming your way. So you get your details over to Jazzy and we'll get that sorted out for you. But look, you know, that's the sort of thing we love to see people. Obviously, there's a big waiting list for scholarships. We're trying to get as many to you as soon as possible. But one hell of a way to jump to the top of that list is show some initiative and, you know, help grow the community just like this guy has. So, yeah, big respect to JM Sargato. Thanks for that, buddy.
The Filipino Tony Stark right there. That's awesome. There's a couple other bits of community news that we could share.
Yep, far away.
So we have a bit of sad news. Very sad. One of our first scholars and community leads, Jazzy, she's decided that it's time to graduate, which is totally cool. You know, she's got a team for herself. She's got a team for her kids. The kids are going back to school. They're locked down. So she wants to focus on the family, which is totally cool. So she's moving from one family to another, or back to her old family, I guess. So, you know, that's sad that she's leaving, but she said, you know, she's still going to be part of the community and stuff, but she's going to give up the moderating duties and all the stuff that she helps us with. But that means that we need a new Jazzy or someone to help take over some of her responsibilities. And we've decided on Rochelle, who is Lady Pusa in the scholarship. She plays one of my scholarships, and her and Tim, they're both really strong, active members of the community. Tim is flirting with 2,000 MMR, so he's one of the top scholars right now. So he's raking it in, killing it on the leaderboard. And Pusa, they live together. She's been helping me with a lot of tracking and keeping organized. So I think it's a natural progression. So, you know, thank you, Jazzy, for everything that you've done. You've helped build this community. It's been amazing. I know you're not gone yet. You're going to be around till the end of August, she said. But we really, 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 really appreciate everything that you've done and helped us out a lot.
Big time.
So, yeah, that's sad. But, I mean, it's understandable. Everybody, this is not a full-time job. This is not permanent. This is one of those things where we want to help people get on their feet and then, you know, hopefully get inroads into other things in crypto and you know, everything in life. We don't want you to be a slave and just work for us.
She's saying she'll still be here, Mr. Gonzo. Of course she will.
Yeah, of course she's going to be here, but you know, she's got other responsibilities in her life, so she won't be able to take on as many responsibilities with us.
Yeah,
so that's great.
Yeah, Jazzy. I just want to. Obviously, you're not hanging up the boots just yet, but yeah, my sincere thanks for a huge amount of work you've put in with us. So. wonderful to have you part of the community and such a key role for us. Look, we're growing this community. We hope to have other roles for people. If there's, I've said this a few times, but if there's any social media experts out there, please DM me. We do have some roles. So I guess we're up to date on 9 Chronicles there. We actually have no news on when that bridge is happening. I think, what did they say, Stefano? A week plus. Could be
tomorrow, could be in a year from now. I don't know. Like, not only there isn't any news on that, but they also cut out the community leaders from any information about this, and I think that it's right for them to do that, because it's like such
insider information.
Yeah, it's really like an important piece of news that is going to change a lot between, like, the supply of Rep 9 Chronicles Gold, the value, all of these things. So I think that they're doing the right thing of cutting out any single possibility that there is like a leak of the information. When that is going to happen, I have no idea. And if I'm looking at like a possible security auditing, they've announced that like a week ago and something like that. I would say that it could be anywhere between like an extra week if everything was done good to potentially like even a month or a month and a half. So
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Comment. Sorry, Jazzy says, "I'm not leaving. I'll still be here banning people."
Now, obviously, I'm ramping up the amount of scholars I've got. Thank you for your patience to the people that are still waiting. With the changes in Axies, we do spend a lot of time trying to put the right teams together. I drive Mr. Gonzo insane. He gives me plenty of help with doing that. But what I would say is, most of my teams are all pretty much of the same level. Some people are doing a hell of a lot better than others. And I do think you need to reach out and engage with the community if you are struggling with that team. I've never put any heat on anyone to take a team off them, and I don't want to come across as the statement being about that. I'm basically saying the community is there to help. So, Mr. Gonzo, what is in place, and what do you think is the best way for people if they are maybe struggling with a team to get ahead here? And what can you tell us about what we're going to be doing on Twitch that will obviously help on that front as well?
Yeah, so the last 2 weeks after.
Back in a moment, guys. You take over.
It's been 2 weeks since they've changed the SLP ratings and how it's earned. So what we had is a bit of like some of this. I think the scholars, they got a bit coddled, because it was very easy to earn a lot of SLP, and so nobody paid attention to. Well, not nobody, but a good majority of the scholars didn't focus on PvP. So now they're all switching to PvP and they're getting slaughtered because they haven't practiced it. I would say 90% of the teams, there are at least 1200 MMR, and 1200 MMR is like 50-50, right? All the teams that we've built, if you memorize the cards and the basic fundamentals of Axie, you will be above 1200, right? If you have a good team and you're below 1200, this is more probably the fault that you haven't studied enough and you haven't figured out how the cards work, understand the gameplay, how the bonuses work, how the combos. There's all kinds of information that you can learn in Axie. And if you know that stuff, that will automatically make you an above 500 player, whether you have a shitty team or not. So there's a bit of responsibility on the scholars to go forward and to learn everything that you possibly can, because once you learn that stuff, that will instantly take you to the next level. If you make it to that level and you grind and you show that you've learned all the stuff that you need to, then if you're still struggling and you can't break through that next level, then we can talk about upgrading and working on improving your team. But generally, 75-80% of the requests that I get for improvements are either the teams being misplayed, they're not set up, placing the Axies the correct way, or they're not utilizing the full potential of the team because the scholar doesn't realize how the combos work for the teams. Now, some of that is my fault. I've built some complicated teams and I've helped Sean build some of his teams, and they're not your traditional setup. So with the new Twitch stream, what I want to do is start reviewing some of the teams and I'm going to tag the scholars who those teams are, and I'm going to go through and discuss the teams, like the strengths, the weaknesses, the strategies you should be using, and hopefully we get some other scholars on there, and everybody can watch, not just your own team, but other people's team. And if we go through and discuss all the different teams and the potential, hopefully that will help make everybody better and give you some ideas for new teams and new Axies and new meta. So it's kind of like, I'm thinking about a name, but it's something like the Gonzo Meta Lab, or, I'm going to work with Tim and a Spaghetti, and we got Merwin now and Loretz. We've got 4 scholars all flirting with 2000 MMR. So, I can make the teams, but I can't play them as well as those guys. So hopefully with the group mentality, we can all get better and everybody can get above 1200. We've got some below, which is not great, but with a bit of hard work, we can all get there. So let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll announce when we're doing those streams very, very soon. People so you can jump on and we're here to help. That's the whole idea of this community. Anything to add on Axie, Stefano?
No, things are totally good on the match WoW side. So can't complain, to be honest. We're fine. Players are doing good. Couple of people got a little bit of problems here and there, but very minor things, super minor. Plenty of upgrades has been done. Top performers are now having 40 energies. No, in my side, I'm happy. Things are good. Can't complain.
Okay, very good. We'll be posting our interview with Jiho. That'll be out tomorrow morning, Singapore or Southeast Asia time. So check that out, and we'll let you know when that Twitch stream is coming up. I've got a bunch of eggs hatching on Monday, so I'll have probably 6 or 7 teams out to the people on the waiting list. Then, as you know, people, I've given every single one of my teams away. My first ever team was to Jazzy, and that was because we're trying to build a community here, build a brand, and for me, it's been about rewarding people that I see engaging with the community, and I'll continue that. I know maybe sometimes it doesn't get me the hardcore scholars, but I'm fine with that. My thing is to reward people that are helping grow this brand and this community. So more teams on the way, people. Anything else in closing today, guys? Short and sweet. Mr. Gonzo, any parting thoughts, comments for the community?
No, I'm just super proud of everybody, seeing the growth. We are not the most organized, and we're like a ragtag bunch of knuckleheads here, and we're all just trying to find a way, and everybody's learning and we're growing. But with the support of the community, we've been able to grow quite large. We've got a really good scholarship going here with a lot of people, and it's not just about Axie, it's about play to earn. So we've laid the foundation now, and there's all kinds of games and projects coming down the pipe. So I'm super excited, seeing the dedication and the support that everybody's giving each other in the community, right? So I just hope we continue growing and keep going with what we're doing, and more fun times ahead.
Absolutely. Stefano, closing thoughts, comments?
Well, today's preparation on the sales of the last sales on Chicken Derby. So if anybody is planning of joining that, you're gonna compete against me as well. So good luck. But
what do you prefer,
that,
ZED RUN or Chicken Derby?
Huh?
What do you think's the better game, ZED RUN or Chicken Derby?
So
both from a fun and a tokenomics point of view.
Well, I think that one is a copycat of another one, and I think that one is a copycat, but is also putting some innovation in place. So I would say that ZED RUN is the one that I prefer personally. But the reason why I prefer that personally is because, one, it was there earlier. 2, it's already available. You can play that. And I respect people that are pushing products out, even if they're not perfect, rather than, doing 25 pre-sales and taking money from the community without any alpha available or anything like that. So between the two, I have to pick ZED RUN for sure. But
and it looks better. That Chicken Run looks like dog shit.
Do you have to throw a lot of money at ZED RUN for a return
Jesus
there?
Christ, yeah. Like,
Well,
to
it's
be
just
honest,
like the real world, right? With
yeah,
horse
that's what I
racing.
wanted to say. I think that like it's pretty in line with the actual cost of.
I grew up in a horse racing family, so I know all about the costs of real horses and how often they actually win.
So you know, it's a tough one. But then again, like, and here's my thing. You know, I'm gonna use Axie as an example again because, you know, with the change in season and everything, a lot of people got like very upset, obviously, like with the reduction of the SLP and so on. And, you know, if we need to be totally honest and brutally honest, earning SLP on Axie is easy. Like, even if there is a reduction, you're not gonna have like an issue on earning SLP and so on. But if I'm looking at games like F1 Delta Time, took me 6 months before earning something there. 6 months.
What?
I'm like earning $0 every single day, and then after 6 months, I finally learn how to actually do things in a proper
Do you
way.
actually have a driving license, Stefano, in the real world?
Yeah, I do.
You do.
But in F1 Delta Time, that's the thing. This is not rev racing. Rev racing is the one where like you drive for real. No, but you drive the car. F1 Delta Time is all about like selecting every single part of the car based on the weather condition and the racetrack that you're going on, and it's all about probabilities. And that's the crazy part. Is like that meme that like it's going around that is like first time on Axie and it's like random BS go, where like all the random cards and everything, and then there is like after a month and so on that there is Yu-Gi-Oh and like go Exodia and so on. It's a meme that goes around. You're too much of a boomer to understand this.
Ooh,
Ken Bozak in the house.
what's up,
Hey, buddy.
Mr. NFT man? What's up, buddy? That's awesome. And he dropped $100 in there, telling us to look
Yeah.
at Splinterland, #1
Damn.
NFT game.
Yeah, Splinterland was around like when it was still called like Steam Monster. So they're probably like one of the, or no, it was probably like the first that actually came around. That with like other games like Drag Wars, Steam Cities, and kind of like the Steam blockchain was actually super good to figuring out a lot of the things that were happening on the play to earn side. They were like super early adopters in those things. But apart from that, like going back on that topic, is like learning a lot of these play to earn games takes an insane amount of time. Like you really need to be like willing to, you know, push and really put in your hands there. So on ZED RUN, to give you an idea, my entire return on ZED RUN so far is probably being like $30-40 in total. And I bought my first horse like a year ago at this point, or even more. So
Well, you
But
just made that from Ken talking about Splinterlands now. So there you go, Stefano.
Has that has the horse appreciated in value though? The price of the
Yes.
NFTs since you bought it. So
yes.
how much there?
Well, in that case, well, because my horse is not like a Z1 or a Z2, those are the ones that like went up. So in value, like it triples because we're in FOMO, obviously. But even with that, if I need to compare that on Axie return, on like even holding an Axie and so on for the same amount of time. So an horse was basically going for like similar to Axie at the beginning. You were looking at like $5, $10, $20. Right now, that horse can be sold for like $200-300, while an Axie at the peak, if you were looking at like premium stuff and so on, can actually go still for $600 at this point. So, you know, it was a better return to be on Axie in that case, yes. However, I need to take 99.9% of the responsibility on this because it was my mistake on not investing enough time to actually learn the mechanics. Once I started doing that on games like F1 Delta Time, that's when things really start changing. The problem is that the demotivation of these type of things, and that's why Axie is Axie. Because on Axie, you get the little reward for the bare minimum. It hooks you up because you see that like you get the $1 or $2 coming in your way immediately. That's why Axie was Axie even before being Axie. That's why a year ago, we used to play and making $1 per day, but we used to do that because anything else was giving you 0. Now, I'm gonna sound like the grandpa or the boomer, but you guys that
Ah,
started
you're
playing
taking
Axie,
my job there, Stefano.
no,
Thank
but
you.
it's true because like you guys that started playing Axie now, and you got like $20, $30, $50 a day.
Yeah,
Like you
exactly.
guys got it so good because
Yeah,
like
you're getting paid good to learn. We got paid shit to learn. On that
was
point, you know, like the top guys that are all at 2000 MMR now, those guys all started at 800 MMR. They had crap teams. They grind, months after months. You know, it's not like, oh, you get new Axies, you have a good team. There is so much more to it than that. So I just want to reiterate that. And there's one other comment by Ken there, Stefan. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Ken says he makes $100 a day on Splinterlands, but he's been playing since day one, right?
Yeah.
So what
Really?
are you realizing the same kind of returns? And how much time have you put into it?
I stopped playing Splinterland. I was like I still have alpha cards actually on Splinterland. I'm super happy because I'm making the weekly airdrops for free now, and I'm staking the government's tokens. I stopped playing Splinterland around the time when they started migrating to the deck, like the dark energy crystal, which is like their token. When they started having that on Ethereum, I think when that bridge, that's when I started like stopping. The reason why I started stopping is because one, the tournaments, I was very bad at the tournaments in general, and number two, I was not enjoying the daily quest. But in general, like that's another good example where like Splinterland is it's probably the only other game that I can think about that like you have so many different things that you can do, because the tournament mechanics that they have is so much more advanced than what you have on Axie, for example. Now, forget the return of investment for a second. We're talking about like delivery on things that works. Tournaments on Splinterland are the best in the play-to-earn industry. They're insane. You got free ones, you got paid ones, you got super premium ones. They're done so good. Then you got mechanics that are done on like renting cards, and that's what I was doing basically. I was earning on renting cards, and when I stopped playing, so you can rent cards, which you cannot do that. You can't rent Axie, or there was like a product that was like developed, but it never took off, and so on. You can sell the cards, you can flip that. You got like all of these extra utility points on opening packs, potions, tools that are giving you higher percentages on a pack to receive a rare card and stuff like that. Utilities for a utility tokens, not decreasing earning or increasing earning. Like you can do things with a utility tokens. So no, apart from like, it's not my cup of tea in the gameplay. I prefer cards games like God and Chain. I think that they're a little bit more on my side. Like I prefer those type of things. But if I need to like look at the tokenomics and like the structure around Splinterland, it's absolutely perfect. It's really, really done super good. However, I'm still very, very unclear why they also decided to go into the land universe. As per usual, I've seen too much land at this point. But that's the only thing that I can say about that. But apart from that, I'm a big, big fan. I used to be into Splinterland when it was still Steam Monster. So really, they will always, always have my respect. 100%.
We've got some comments from Just Pure Lucky. He's also playing Splinterlands, and he says it's heavily tied into the assets that you have, the earnings, right? So it's not really necessarily skill based. It sounds like. With that said, though, he said most of his earnings come from renting out cards. So
yeah, I agree with that. But it's also like it's really skill based on the sense that like here's the difference. So in a card game, traditionally, like if we're considering also Axie as a card game and Gods Unchained as well, obviously, it's a strategy type of thing. Like you have your opponent at day one, you start, and for round number one, you're trying to like one, come up with a strategy with the cards that you have in your hands, and number two, you're trying to figuring out what the opponent can have in his or in her deck. Splinterland is completely the opposite on that, because on Splinterland is auto play. Sounds familiar? Remember 9 Chronicles? Is auto play. So things are done before starting playing.
Yeah.
So what you do is that you need to analyze the opponent that you're going after, seeing you have like a time frame of 2 minutes. I don't know if they changed that, but back in the days it was like this. You had a 2 minutes time frame where you could have like checked the previous 5 fights of your opponent. And so you were basically doing things like trying to understand what type of daily quest is your opponent going to complete, what type of deck is your opponent going to play. And so you're trying to guessing basically what type of cards your opponent is going to play. And then obviously the more you play, the more you see patterns and the more you're just like on your own team. But it is very, very true that on Splinterland, to actually fight those type of variables, you need a big amount of cards in your deck, because you want to be able to create a lot of different options and strategies based on the type of opponent that you have, which is also very, very similar to games like God Unchained from that side. The more cards you have, the more complicated your deck can be, the more type of combos you can have. And that increase the price also fairly quickly, because you might actually have like a base floor that is maybe $0 or $5 or $10, but it goes up very, very quickly on like $2,000, $3,000 or $5,000. So there is nothing in between, basically.
Mr. Gonzo?
Yes, sir.
Final thoughts, and we're coming up on an hour. I've got places to be. We're in a complete lockdown here now, so I've got to get out and about. Probably be online 24/7 for the next couple of months, people. I'm absolutely gutted. I've had Stefano and I both had 6 months of hard lockdown in Singapore last year, and facing another one here in New Zealand now.
You could start doing the hard boomer Twitch.
Maybe, yeah. Sure, there's a big market for that.
Also, Sean and Stefano, we've got a couple scholars that are getting into Twitch now, which is kind of cool and crazy and good. We can restream that stuff on the hard forking. So we've got Spaghetti and Marcus Obando, who are 2 of my earliest scholars. They're going to stream, or they're going to do some twitching in Spanish for Venezuelan scholars. Awesome. And Pusa and Tim, as I said before, they've been doing quite well in the whole program. They're also going to do some streaming about Axies. I'm not sure if they're going to go in Tagalog or English, maybe both. But then we have 2 other Twitch streamers that were competitive gaming before, and now they've joined hard forking. So we've built them some nice teams, and they're going to start twitching as well. So we've got Ramen the Third, what's up, who's a friend of a referral of Jed. And then we also have another scholar testing who's going to also twitch. So and just Pure Lucky, who also is our 9 Chronicles guy. He's started his Twitch stream. It looks pretty nice. So yeah, we've got a nice little stable of Twitch streamers going, which could be kind of good if we can get some high-level MMR players twitching. That's a niche going on inside of Twitch right now, because most of the people twitching, you're either like extremely high level, like top 10, or there's like just everybody else. So we have some opportunities here. So if anybody's interested in twitching or streaming on Facebook, let us know, and we can help with some cross promotion and maybe some rewards. So yeah, let us know.
Yep,
see you guys out there.
Awesome.
There's Ramen in the comments.
Sorry,
there's Ramen the Third in the comments.
Robin the Third.
Ramen, like ramen.
Okay.
So awesome. Welcome to the team, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. You may even see me occasionally on Twitch, people. I think we can show our next breeding event, Mr. Gonzo, which will be on Monday. So the scholars can get involved in selecting their own teams, maybe. Okay, people, I got to go and get my dinner. But thank you so much, Stefano, Mr. Gonzo. I hope I'm not cutting you off too early here. Was there anything else you wanted to add before we finish up, guys?
All good.
All good.
All good. Yes.
Okay. Listen, community, we're growing here. Your names are all very familiar to us now. Sort of feel like we're getting to know each other. So it'd be great to have some of you on these streams with us. Ken, if you're still watching, you're more than welcome, buddy. Would love to.
Yeah,
love
Ken,
to have you
come on the show.
Yeah.
Mr. Bozak, bring it on. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, hit us up, and we'll see if we can tee that up, mate. And thank you for the $100. It was extremely generous. Okay, guys.
Very nice.
Have a wonderful Friday.
Peace out,
and an amazing weekend, and we'll see you all back here very soon. Cheers now. Bye-bye.